Take a breath, step outside.
As we say back home, Ya'at'eh. Ya'at'eh is a beautiful word in the Navajo language that means more than just hello. I'll just explain since we've got our Auntie Joanne Wilmot here with us from Adelaide, Australia. Auntie, Ya'at'eh means in the beauty way, which is Hojon. Ya means all, like universal all. At'eh means it is, like all it is. So that basically, to me, when I think about that, it means we are all connected cosmically, and it's a beautiful way of saying hello. And where Elena comes from, of course, they say kia ora, and we love that too. So thank you all. A very good, wonderful Saturday afternoon. We are Indigenous Ways. This is our wonderful Saturday afternoon virtual events concert series. We'd like to start off by acknowledging the traditional owners of the country throughout Turtle Island and pay respect to elders past and present. We want to take this time to acknowledge the traditional owners and ancestors of these lands we reside on here in Santa Fe, New Mexico. There's 19 pueblos we are around and on. And wherever you are beaming in from, we would like to acknowledge the traditional owners and ancestors of your lands so we could all be here today. Indigenous Ways is dedicated to bridging cultural exchange with people globally. And this afternoon is very special because we have met this amazing woman on the road in various festivals while we're touring as IndigenousWays, which is our duo. And it seems like every festival we go to, there's Tori. Everybody likes her so much that they always call her back because Tori is one of those people that is able to see people where they're at. So when she sees a person, and say you get on a table for her to work on you and just tell her what's going on with you. She's almost like the Aboriginal elders. She's able to see you and see where your pain is and be able to address that. And if we give her permission with trusting in her, she's actually a really good vehicle for healing. But furthermore, aside from Tori doing energy work with people physically through massage and oils and all that. She's also a wonderful vocalist. So she's found different modalities for people to recover from brokenness, which in my opinion, we all have. We all have that brokenness. And we also have this beautiful breath called life, the breath of life. And we have choices. And we can either stay in that brokenness or we can heal from that brokenness. And Tori is a vehicle for healing. I've had her lay her hands on me and massage several times. She's great. That's not why she's here today. Today, Tori is here to talk to us. And Tori is here to sing to us. So, Tori, would you like to thank you. First of all, thank you for being with us. Can you tell us about your early beginnings and let us get to know you a little bit? Uh-oh, you're muted. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, you got it. Okay.
Great. Thank you so much for such a beautiful introduction. And Tasha and Elena, it's a true blessing and joy to be here with you during this time to share stories and medicine. And I understand that you just did a road trip to offer to elders and to people things that they need. So I really appreciate that you are here after doing service in that way. I am Tori Trujillo. I am a two-spirit, mixed blood granddaughter of Mexican migrant farm workers and Dutch settlers. I'm a medicine woman and facilitator of healing, as Tosh mentioned, and my main modalities are body work, energy work, and sound healing. My homeland is Holland, Michigan, which is the original lands of the Potawatomi, Odawa, and Ojibwe. And I'm coming with you. I'm here with you from Seattle, the original lands of Duwamish. Before we begin, I want to call in all of our ancestors of light and love, all of the ancestors that walked hard paths, that survived, that didn't survive, that shared their medicine, that are helping us remember who we are, that bring us our gifts. We welcome you. We call you in, and all of the guides and guardians that walk with us, that heal us, that protect us, that work through us. And my desire today is to be a clear channel of good medicine, whether it be through stories or music. I started singing. Well, I've always loved music and singing. I didn't start singing officially, or I didn't find my singing voice until I was about 12. And I joined my grandmother's Pentecostal church. And that's where I learned to sing. That's where I learned to listen and follow the spirit and harmonize. And it's also where I learned that singing for me is healing to me first and foremost, for me first and foremost. That the energy that moved through me when I was singing felt like it was clearing debris that I didn't even realize I had, coming from various types of trauma, not being able to speak my truth, seeing pain all around me from the adults that I loved, but that were also dealing with certain types of addiction and other types of trauma. I learned that singing was a way to move my truth through my body, and it was clearing me as I sang. And it just so happened that other people expressed that they were feeling the same energy of healing. And that was the beginning of my singing. And then from that, I started to sing at weddings and some, family events. And then eventually found my way to the Michigan Women's Music Festival and started singing with a choir there. And from that, was invited to sing harmony vocals. My first official gig was with Nidra Johnson. And then I was able to sing with many other artists along the way. And I've just been incredibly blessed. It's been a beautiful organic unfolding. My singing path has been a beautiful unfolding of opportunity and learning. And I'm just really grateful for that. And that's what I can share now. And I met Tosh and Elena way long ago, like, I don't know, was it 2004 or something like
It was
that?
like 2007, I think.
Yeah, like MySpace days, if you
Yeah,
remember MySpace.
exactly. Those were the days.
And I had heard, somehow connected with IndigenousWays music, or maybe it was Tosh solo, and we were messaging, and I was living in Michigan and they were in the Southwest, and I saw that they were going to be performing at it was at one of the casinos in the northern part of Michigan, in Mount
Oh my
Pleasant, Michigan.
God. No way.
Yes, that's farther than 2007. And I reached out and said, "You're going to be in my state. I got to come see you. I really want to, meet you in person." And as it turned out, we met, we connected, old friends. They invited me to sing harmony. We practiced, we sang. It was just a wonderful connection of first time old friend meetings. And since then, our paths just keep overlapping and overlapping. It's really beautiful.
Oh my gosh. I can't even believe that. You're right. We met you at a very significant opening for us as we had just met. She had just gotten here from Australia and kind of just getting into the music scene together. So you met us in our very early beginnings. That must have been like our third gig together that we were doing up there. So thank you so much. Tori, can you start us off with something so we can hear your vocals?
Absolutely. I will start with a song most people know, but maybe haven't heard arranged this way. It's Blackbird by the Beatles, as arranged by Dion Ferris. And I sing it with the feeling of healing. I know that these days we're isolated from one another. We're feeling fear and anxiety. We likely have lost someone or know of someone who's been lost due to COVID or indirectly as a result of COVID. And this song is a way for me to imagine spreading our wings, flying and being in the energy of healing. Blackbirds singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You've always waited for this moment to arrive. Blackbirds singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see all your life. You've always waited for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly. Blackbird fly. Blackbird fly into the light of a new dark night. Oh, blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You've always waited for this moment to arrive. Blackbird fly. Blackbird fly. Blackbird fly. Ooh. Into the light of a new dark sky.
Woo! Oh gosh. Is anybody crying tears of just tearful joys of freedom, of the bird flying, and just thinking of that being airborne, man. Reminds me of some of my dreams where I actually fly. There's
Those
no
are the
gravity.
best.
Yeah, it's amazing. Woo! That was intense. So you have such a beautiful pitch, and I'd like to ask you some questions about artistic expression and how for artists, especially through COVID, everything just stopped, right? All the gigs, the massages, the healing touches, the energy, the one-on-ones, the concerts. How did that impact your walk, your work, and your own, say, survival? And how did that furthermore propel your creative process, or did it stifle it on some level?
That's a really good question. Interestingly, last year, just before, well, about a week ago last year, I was preparing for a really big tour as a support vocalist for Holly Near. We were going to do an East Coast tour and a West Coast tour, and I read something on my Facebook timeline that said that and then of course she canceled the tours, and I read on my timeline that I was out like 24 concerts or 24 gigs or something like that. And so professionally, of course, it was a big hit to my professional opportunities of singing out and about in the world. I came to Seattle to shelter in with my beloved Stormy Weber, and I want to acknowledge her today. I'm so grateful for her as my friend and companion. And I came to Seattle, which at that time was the hotspot for COVID, so that we could shelter in together, not knowing how long it was going to be. And I was here for about 6 weeks. What I found was, while on one hand, my momentum professionally stopped in terms of playing out, what it did in another way was to create some space and at first enforced, well, we chose to shelter in and stay put and not be out in the world like everything was normal. So by that I say enforced, by our choices to stay put and stay safe. What it did, it was to allow me to understand how much I needed rest. And I was working in a spa doing massage in New Jersey, living in New York State, because I could only have my license in New York State. I hadn't gotten it in New York yet. So it was like a 40-minute drive one way or both ways. And I've never worked in a spa before. I'm grateful for it. But it was a pace that I wasn't used to. And then also doing music. And I realized that I was deeply burnt out. And maybe even for the majority of this year, I've been healing from that level of output. That's the colonizers' idea of success, or this capitalist system we live in requires us sometimes to hustle in a way that isn't normal or healthy for us. And this year has allowed me a chance to rest, be quiet, and also to take some classes that became available virtually because of COVID, including home recording and a songwriting class and some other, spiritual practice classes that help me go deeper into my remembering of who I am and what my medicine is. And so there was the hard part of losing those gigs and losing the opportunity to sing with Holly Near. And then there was this blessing of having space to rest and really go deeper into my own healing, into my own, practice with tools.
Wow, that sounds refreshing. So it's really interesting. It's been very tragic, the coronavirus, and how it has impacted my community on the Navajo Nation, my relations, and everybody else's relations. And it's been devastating. It's been impactful. Now, on the other token, what has happened is Mother Earth has gotten a breather. A lot of people staying home, a lot of stuff not getting dumped into rivers and oceans has cleaned kind of up the air a little bit. So it's really interesting to see this virus do a cleansing for Mother Earth, which she desperately needs.
Mm-hmm.
And she also let us know who's in charge here. And always does when a natural disaster happens. I mean, I don't care how cool and how tough and how much money anybody has. If something goes down, that's Mother Earth saying, hey, this is not cool. I'm not happy. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not happy with what you're doing to my internal organs.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, because in the Navajo way, from what I've heard, all the minerals, uranium, are all different parts of Mother Earth's organs. So when that gets exploited, there's a response.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to talk about that a little bit and how you think talk about the paradox, the devastation and the healing? Like what you just now said, you're a representation of Mother Earth. You got
Mm-hmm.
a cleansing. You got to stop. You got to stop getting in your car and driving somewhere every day and putting out emissions and give your body a rest. Do you
Mm-hmm.
want to talk about that a little bit with us?
Sure. I feel like this virus and also the sickness of white supremacy that was embodied and agitated by the last guy that was in the White House, um, whose name I won't mention. That sickness has always been there, but I feel like there's no mistake that these things were happening simultaneously, because I feel like it was a catalyst to healing, like many of these wounds and uh, these sicknesses that are part and parcel of this culture that we live in, um, needed to be lanced because there was maybe just a little skin of healing over it, but not true healing. So it was still festering under there. And so I feel like it needed to be opened and exposed in order for healing to occur, in order for more people to become aware, because many of us and our ancestors have known all along about the sickness of racism. But there were others that didn't know by nature of being white and not seeing it and being here in this pandemic, staying at home. People had to see. They didn't have a chance to be distracted. So when George Floyd was murdered, I didn't personally watch it. I couldn't see another man's life being taken that way, but I know a lot of people did, and it shouldn't have been surprising to people, but many people were horrified. So that, I think, propelled a newer level of commitment to anti-racism, to understanding our internal biases, and for healing. And I think that, as you mentioned, the earth needed a rest. We needed a rest as people. Oh, and if nothing else, I think there are many gifts that we'll recognize when all is said and done. But I know that I am valuing my relationships in my community and the opportunity to go to live events like music and art more than ever, because I haven't for a whole year. I think that I will understand the importance of the relationships in my life more intentionally than I did before the pandemic. I do want to, I may have acknowledged already, but if I didn't, I just want to acknowledge all of those that have crossed over recently. There's so much work to be done around cultural and collective grieving, the opportunity to grieve collectively. We feel it, but there aren't practices in our culture that give us the opportunities to grieve collectively. It's like, this happened and that's sad and keep going, but that's not healthy. So those are some other things that I think are coming to the surface, because I think that there are a lot of people out there who are practiced at supporting people through the grief process that are now able to step forward and offer their gifts. And another another gift of this is that if people were sitting on their medicine, it was needed so much that it gave people opportunity to offer their medicine out in the world more than ever before. And I saw that happen with many people in my life, just stepping into offering their gifts more because it was so needed in the world.
Beautiful. That is the next question I want to ask you because I want more and more and more of you, as much of you as we can get in these next few minutes before we ask you
Sure.
to sing again.
Sure.
So, do you feel, well, you said it, you said that people that have these gifts, whether it's physical, massage, healing, acupuncture, everything that got stopped
Mm.
had to be stopped or by choice got stopped for safety purposes. These people found other ways to give. And I'm saying that because we just came from Black Mountain,
Mm.
and to see the community here in the front yard of Meow Wolf, about 8 or 10 volunteers from that beautiful local entity that's now morphing into other communities around art and bringing people together. A lot of youth showed up to pitch in to help. A lot of elders came to pitch in and put these elder traditional Navajo boxes together with arts
Mm.
and crafts and all the other healthy things that are needed on the mountain because there's no stores or anything like that. So uh, the amount of non-profiteering, and
Mhm.
I don't even want to use the word charity because charity sounds so charity like, but just a true giving from the heart, the sacred intention of putting out in order to feel some service of self, to get out of self and stop feeling sorry for, I'll use myself as an example, poor me, I can't see my friends, poor me, I can't go and tour with Elena, poor me, I can't get on a stage and sing, and poor me, poor me, poor me, poor me, but rather like, you know what, since I can't do that, who can I help and how can I help in a safe
Yes.
way? And who wants to get involved and come along? So do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes. Yes. I observe that another function of the capitalist system, which is the system of the colonizer, is that the concept, it's very like, I will get for me and mine, and I will hoard for me and mine. And it's very competitive, and it's very lack consciousness. There's only so much, so I got to get it all for myself. And in the indigenous ways, and in other community-based cultures, the idea is that we share what we have. So this the people are practicing that already, the indigenous way of sharing for the collective, sharing our gifts for, yes, our own, but also for those around us. But and this pandemic created the opportunity for that to happen more, and I think that we're being able to learn from communities that are already set up in that way, like some of the technology that people with special needs have created to be able to, be in the world and have meetings and whatnot. They had wisdom for us already set up for
Nice.
things that we could, do to remain connected in the world. So we're able to value and uplift wisdom that's been there, and to really, as you say, tap into our consciousness of serving. And to understand that when we do that, when we share with our communities, when we support those around us, everybody wins. And that gets us off the gerbil wheel of this capitalistic, model that we're told is the way to do it. So I feel like we have a chance to learn it through practice if we're not already living it. This model of living with a community consciousness.
Beautiful. I'm just going to keep saying beautiful every time you stop because that's you.
Oh,
You're just beautiful, Tori, and we love you. We'd love
thank
to hear a song of your choice at this time, if you don't mind.
Sure, I don't mind. Um, I had to find the dowel for my quartz crystal singing bowl. So my personal music, I the tree of my music has many branches. One branch is harmony and support vocals for other artists. I love to sing harmony. I absolutely love it. It's near and dear and close to my heart. So that's one branch. Another branch is also sometimes I do solo shows and I'll bring I'll bring musicians to accompany me and I'll do mostly covered songs. But the work that is my most closest to my most authentic calling, I believe, is what I refer to as medicine music. And I offer it in various ways. Sometimes one-on-one with clients. It can be through toning or tuning forks or quartz crystal singing bowl playing. I offer meditations that some people refer to as sound baths. What I'm going to offer now is intended to help us slow down, slow our breathing, come into our bodies, connect to the most sacred parts of ourselves, to allow emotion to clear and move if needed, and just to rest. And so you won't see it because it's off screen, but I'll be playing a quartz crystal singing bowl and I'll be channeling vocal sound along with that. I'm going to move the singing bowl a little bit so it's sitting on next to the mic a little better, so bear with me. Also, if you hear some cats meowing in the background, it's not just that they're singing with me, it's that one of my cats is a foodie and he is perpetually inviting me to feed him. You have a cat there? Oh, very sweet. So let me ask you a moment before I get started. If you can hear the singing bowl, okay? Okay, good. So before I start, I'm just going to invite everybody to take a deep breath in and exhale. Settle into your body. Be comfortable. Breathe in ease. Breathe in relief. Breathe in peace. And breathe out tension, fear, grief, anxiety. And receive this love that comes in this medicine music. Hmm.
Wow.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Take some deep breaths. Thank you. Got some tears welled up in me. I felt that. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
I needed that after the long ride. It's been very intense,
I imagine.
very beautiful. We come from resilience, courage, strength, wisdom. So thank you. Thank you. It's so important for us to continue to heal. And I think I'm going to go ahead and ask you one last question. This year, we have gone from Rising in Resilience 2020 with Indigenous Wisdom Circles and using that as a theme to think about. And now we're into a different phase of the healing from this virus that I was told to respect. And I was told this virus has ears. And I was told to walk in beauty around this virus and be respectful to this virus. And I've been doing that to the best of my ability, being that I'm a human being in human conditions on a spiritual journey. So can you talk about thriving in purpose and what does that mean to you?
Yes. I first want to acknowledge the beauty of the framing of the virus as something to be respected. And I feel that. I feel like if it had been respected by our government in the first place, that we wouldn't be where we are now with so many deaths and with so many that have been impacted with sickness in the way that we have. Speaking of resilience, I want to name 3 ancestors that come to mind specifically. First, my grandma Alice Crocked, not in order of importance, but I have more to say about my Trujillo grandparents. So I'll start with my grandma Alice. She was my first example of living feminism. She divorced my grandpa in, let's see, it would have been in the 40s when she had my dad, who was 2 and was expecting my Aunt Bev. And my grandpa Crocked was very abusive. This is from my Dutch ancestry. Very abusive. He was an alcoholic. And she left him at a time when women they were not supposed to do that. She was ostracized from her religious community. But she just did her own thing. She brought herself through college. She taught high school. She had a career. She traveled the world. She read. She loved she really was my first example, or one of my first examples of understanding that we all have a subconscious and that there are things that inform our behavior that come from our history. It could be generational. It could be this lifetime, that we are responsible to uncover and to heal from as we're able. And that was such a gift. And so talk about resilience. Here's a woman who did her own thing at a time when there weren't many choices or options for women. And then I think of my grandparents, Marta and Martin Trujillo. They were Mexican migrant farm workers. They would travel from Texas doing migrant work all the way up to Michigan and back for many, many years. Like, they had 8 children. My mom is 5th out of 8. And they eventually settled as one of the first of all, to live that life and to thrive is resilience in and of itself. Then they were one of the first Mexican families to settle in Holland, Michigan, which is really colonized by the Dutch, has been very conservative and very prejudiced. And they were able to find one realtor that was willing to sell them the house. And they lived there and they thrived there in a place that wasn't welcoming to them. And I really am grateful for their strength and their beauty and their joy and the way that they shared with community, and always sharing food and housing. And interestingly, I just want to say this. They didn't understand they were indigenous. Much of my family doesn't recognize their indigeneity through their Mexican bloodline. I didn't even know that I was indigenous until my mid-20s. And interestingly, I was standing in line to get a CD signed by Eulalie, and Putafe asked me as she was signing, "Are you Native?" And I said, no, I don't, I'm Mexican and Dutch, and I don't know. She says, "You're Native." And I was like, it was like a light bulb, and I share this story because I knew down deep, I knew, but I didn't know from being told. And my family was so far removed from their source that they didn't know. Yet my grandma was still practicing, even though she was a very devout Christian. Her faith meant everything to her in the Pentecostal church. She was also practicing curanderismo, the things that she would do with the family and her friends, the root medicine that comes through that native tradition that I'm blessed to be learning now little by little, like filling in my foundation. But I feel like our ancestors teach us, they whisper to us, because I wasn't even interested in the healing arts as a profession or as a calling until after my grandma passed, my grandma Martha. I feel like she tapped me on the shoulder and encouraged me to follow that. And I feel like the teachings are coming from dreams, from knowings, from teachers that are coming in, from things that I'm able to read and learn about. And I feel like that's true for all of us. We may not know who our tribal ancestors are. We may not be card carrying Indians, but we know who we are and the ancestors know who we are. And I'm really grateful for all of the ways that they lead and guide me on this path. And I want to do them proud. Yes. And I want to do the work for healing, not for just myself, but for them as well, because they journeyed through much trauma and dysfunction and beauty all at the same time. So I want the healing to be for me, for them, and for those that come.
Beautiful.
And to me, that's resilience.
Yes, that is so awesome. I feel exactly the same way. Tori, since we have 14 minutes left to the top of the hour, can we pull one more song of you out of your choice, please? Because we want to hear one more song. And then I want to invite everybody to come up and say something. And then I got some posts on social media we'll talk about.
Okay. Yes. And this is a very, very new song that came as a result of the songwriting class that I mentioned from an artist named Sassy Black. She is an incredible singer, songwriter, performer, teacher, and I'm really grateful for her class because I'm really comfortable with sound that isn't words, but I've had a block about songwriting with English words for a long time. And so I feel like this was an opportunity to push past that. I'm going to play a soundtrack that is vocals. It'll be the vocal bed to what I'm going to sing by a group called Beautiful Chorus. The song is Faith's Hymn, and I'll be singing affirmations, or one of my favorite affirmations. So can you hear that? Okay. I am supported by divine love. I am supported by divine love to create what I truly desire. Silence hinders me. It's a weight on my chest. Waves of shame and fear echo from my past. I am reaching for my voice, my freedom. I am supported by divine love, yeah, to create what I truly desire. I am longing for freedom. I am all possibility. Oh. I'm open to healing. Yeah. I'm all possibility. Oh, I am supported by divine love to create what I truly desire. To create what I truly desire. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Let's take some deep breaths here. You hit the jackpot with me, sister. The tears
Yes.
flowed. The tears flowed.
Oh.
That's some powerful, powerful music. Thank
Hmm.
you. Thank you.
It's my honor and my pleasure, and I thank you as well. And thank you to everybody who's here today and everyone who'll be listening later. I feel you here. I'm grateful to share with you.
Thank you, Tori. And I can't let this concert end without having Elena join in and say a few words before we invite everybody else in. And I hope our interpreters are cool to go maybe 5 minutes over today because, wow, we got to hear everybody else's message to you. Quick,
And one
though. I mean,
quick thing, just quickly, it is the first day of spring. So happy
okay.
vernal equinox, the return of the sun, balance, growth, warmth. Oof. What a blessing to be able to offer this here today on the spring equinox.
Absolutely, Tori. Thank you so much for blessing us with that powerful medicine. And also, happy equinox to everyone. And in that beauty way, I just want to go through what's happening in the Wisdom Circle, which is every Wednesday, 6 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. We've got the beautiful Mimi Gonzalez, who will be joining and blessing us this Wednesday. We have, if you've just found us, we've been able to support over 85 Indigenous LGBTQIA deaf and hard of hearing presenters through the circle and also the concert series where we are at this moment. You can find all of those people and archives in the IndigenousWays.org. Also down below, you'll see all our social media. If you are here blessing us through social media, please like those pages or tell your friends about it, like us. We appreciate that. All of these have been free because of all our amazing sponsors that we've had. This time round, I'd like to acknowledge the Native American Advise Fund, Santa Fe Community Foundation, Westaff, New Mexico Arts, excuse me. And at our website, IndigenousWays.org, you'll be able to find and sign up to our newsletter that we put out weekly. And also huge thanks to our Asl Interpreters that we've had since the 1st of April 2020 when we started this. Thank you today to Martin and also Chris Esiando who are with us. All of these events have been free online simply because of the importance, as the beautiful Tori shared with us, about our connection and how that is. So our electronic beauty way and what we've been doing there. We just got back an hour and 20 minutes ago from a 7-hour drive from the Navajo Nation so we could all be with you. That was possible because of the many organizations, collective organizations that made it happen. Also, as Tash shared, the amazing volunteers who boxed 150 boxes of food and gifts, and also the volunteers that went out to us schlepping all these boxes out. So special thanks to Amber, also to Tasha's doing something. Just say it in the
Meow
mic.
Wolf.
I haven't quite got there yet. Thanks, Tash. But also to Gabriel, who came and helped us, to Amber, also to Jim and Willa, and also to the beautiful Demetria, who schlepped it up for the last 2-3 days, that we really appreciate. But this would not have been possible with each and every one of you making it possible. For the deaf and hard of hearing community that we did a drop, also to the Black Mountain community where we went up to. Special shout out to the Beauty Way Foundation, Colorado Creating Change, New Mexico Foundation, Native American Relief Fund, Mogro, Vegan Outreach, and also, as Tash mentioned, Meow Wolf. I also want to just pop this in. We will be doing more relief runs, and also if you want to support us in the virtual events where we are now, you can go to our website, IndigenousWays.org. And also, thank you everyone for making it possible. I also want to do a special mention to, we had a beautiful sister that passed this morning into the spirit world, Judy Dwyer, that we want to put in this circle, particularly her sister Nancy Dwyer with her loss, but also a huge loss in our community, as she was so instrumental in her humor and her beauty. And I know you mentioned that as well, Tori. So, this is that incredible time. If you are in Zoom, we're going to encourage you to come in, turn on your video if you want to be in here. If you are in social media, any of them that we have, please put a chat. But while people are coming in, I want to say this. Janie Immerman from New York said to you, Tori, I felt that in all my souls. Thank you. Jody Arana, who's beaming in from Australia, says, hello, everyone. Beautiful, just beautiful. Thank you, Tori. And also Mona Terry, who is in social media as well. She said, oh, so heartfelt, dear Tori. Deeply moving. Thank you. Peace, joy, and blessings. I also want to give out a shout out to our auntie, who's joining us from South Australia, Adelaide, who's actually in Zoom. So there you are,
Hey,
Auntie.
Auntie Joanne.
Auntie Joanne. So anyway, thank you everyone for joining us. Is there anyone that wants to share? Oh, Michelle, you've got your mic off. What would you like to share, darling?
Hey,
I
Annette.
love you, Tori. I've known you since, or sung with you since 2008 at the Michigan Women's Music Festival chorus. And your story about being half European and half Mexican native, my family's New Mexico, and I'm 1/16 Mescalero Apache. So I hear you, sister. I'm right there with you, and those ancestors do call to me. And I just learned the runes, and they're calling me. They're calling me. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'd like to thank you for that, Michelle. And I'd like to offer some words if you'd like to say hello to us all. Auntie Joanne Wilmot.
Thank you, and blessings and greetings from our ancestors' country that holds us all strong and proud and dignified, and recognizing our reciprocal relationship that we must have and engage in daily with all of our relations. As part of our greetings on country, we recognize the reciprocity that needs to take place as a mutual offering, as a mutual honouring of each and everyone's place in being able to bring together the spirit to make it whole. When the sister was singing, because it's early morning here and I get up and do my gardening, and I walked out into my garden that Tash, you and Terry know, Tash, that you know what the garden's like. Well, it's now overgrown. The trees are enormous. They're over 50 feet tall in my backyard. But I've got my vegetables and I've got my herbs. So I was feeding them and watering them. But the garden, all of a sudden, whilst that singing was going, the trees were just full of all of the birds.
Wow.
And they seemed to take up the power, the spirit, the strength, and the humility of our love and our warmth. And I feel this is the first of many for me to be engaged and to bring other sisters from across this country together with connecting reciprocity with all of the sisters, hopefully globally, because it's our time. So I appreciate the offer. That was a shock, waking up and all of a sudden I was on Zoom. So I haven't even gotten out of my nightie.
We love you, Auntie Joanne.
Thank you for the love.
Auntie Joanne. And thank you for blessing us and blessing this incredible voice that we have, Tori. And we're going to be looking forward to your wisdom in the Wisdom Circle next month. So thank you.
All right. And I see our beautiful sister, Julie, wants to say something. Hello.
I just wanted to say how much the medicine music touched my heart. And as I listened, I was celebrating the equinox with my drum and cornmeal, walking on the land. And I was almost moved to tears because the healing music took me into the grief that I haven't really taken time to experience. So thank you so much. And for the glass bowl too.
You and Auntie Jo, I hope it's okay that I call you that. Share that. It means everything to me because my whole desire and intention for the music I offer is for healing, and that it's not just for humans, but the earth and the animals and the birds. It just makes me so happy. And also, I failed to mention earlier, thank you so much for the Asl Interpreters. You are so skilled that it made it hard for me not to stop and watch. Trying to perform. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful. All right. I'd like to go
Thanks,
to,
Judy.
thank you so much, Judy. And I'd like to go to two of our beautiful mates that went with us to the Navajo Nation. Let's start with Demetrio. Demetrio, thank you. He just drove in after us. So would you like to say a hello?
Hi, y'all. What a beautiful day it's been. And these two ladies are just like a river of nonstop gift giving. I have no idea how to do it, but Source must be delivering energy somehow. Maybe like that little spring we stopped by today, just kind of out of the mountain. But blessings, lady. Thank you so much and for the invitation. And Tori, I have to tell you that for me, putting affirmations in the song is something that I've never heard. And I do affirmations a lot, but to feel them inside me moving with song was fantastic. And blessings, thank you so much. It's such a gift. And you have a beautiful voice. Thank you.
Yes.
Beautiful,
Thank you
Demetrio.
all. It's such a pleasure to join you. Talk to you soon.
We feel the love, brother. We feel the love. We definitely have to hear Amber's voice if possible before Amber joined us and got everybody organized and facilitated. And then we'd like to hear from Stormy, and then Annette, if you want to. But let's start with Amber.
I just love you. Thank you, Tori.
Beautiful, Amber. Stormy, would you like to share some words?
I just want to thank you for doing this series. It's so beautifully conceived. And of course, I want to thank you for bringing Tori Trujillo, who not only is a gifted healer and artist, but is also my sweetheart. So I'm biased, but I have good reasons. So
well, we want to get you on the show as well. So thank you for that.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
It's great to see you, Stormy.
Good to see you. We miss you all. And but Missy, hold on. We want to hear from you, but let's talk to Annette first. Hey, Annette! Hey, Annette from Albuquerque.
I missed you guys too. Hey, thank you, ladies. You know what? Thank you, Tori. And it opened up my eyes a lot, and it touched my heart. And I'm glad I was here to hear you today. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you were here too.
Sign for I love you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Annette. And we can't forget
what happened to
who's got
Missy?
the last word, which is
Missy.
Missy. While she's taking off her mic, she also came up to the Black Mountain, and she came up there because she's from there, but we've never said this on here, and I hope this is okay. But this is Tasha's sister. Yay!
Yeah.
Missy, you're on mute. You need to unmute. You've got the last word with us. Oh, and forgot Caleb. Caleb.
Oh, yeah. Caleb, we love you, Caleb. Thank you for being with us, Caleb. Caleb Seminole.
Missy, you've still got your mute on.
Hi, Missy.
Hi, everyone.
There we go.
Yeah, good to be here, and what a great way to end the trip, to hear your beautiful voice and your affirmations and your energy. It's just so nice. I just felt myself just relax and be able to just kind of let go and just be in that freedom of your music and your voice. And I don't know, it just was so relaxing. It was the perfect way to end a very perfect trip that was very beautiful. I think we accomplished a lot. So thank you so much for ending this in such a wonderful, graceful way. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Missy. And Auntie Joanne, we want to bring Missy to meet you in Adelaide one day, okay?
And then thank you for that, Missy. And then with the two last words, we've got Mary Sue Elder Gilbert, who says, beautiful and blessings. And it's just so wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for your time and blessing us in the concert series here every Saturday, the third month of the month. There
you go. So thank you, everybody in Zoom, social media that are here live with us, and those of you in the future that are going to be watching this on our archives. We love you. Thank you for being here with us. As always, I am so incredibly biased to our Asl interpreters. These are two of the most beautiful men that have ever walked planet Earth. They have put meaning and three-dimensionality into your words, your sound. They're amazing. We love you, Martin and Cress. Thank you for being with us today. I was mesmerized. I was floored. Both of you are great. We love you. And we will see you next week on March 24th. I got to give you a warning, though. Mimi Gonzalez is a comedian. She's a Latina.
One of the best medicines out.
She's going to have you rolling in your seat. So, Auntie Joanne, please tune in at your 10 a.m. Thursday morning from Adelaide, Australia. And lastly, let's give it up for Tori Trujillo!